Hi, Sylvia. That changes the color again. They cut it.
How is different?
I already started. Thanks. I did get that.
Yeah, but who's the woman?
No, that's the bubbles.
Yeah.
Where? Sitting next to
Jessica.
Jessica.
Oh, okay. Good evening. Welcome to the meeting of the Skokie Village Board for Wednesday, October the 3rd, 2018. This evening, we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Village Clerk Pramod Shaw.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one
nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The meeting will come to order, and the clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Roberts.
Here.
Trustee Sutker.
Here.
Trustee Ulrich.
Here.
Trustee Bromberg.
Here.
Trustee Klein.
Here.
Trustee Gray Keeler.
Here.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Here, we have a quorum. Item B on the manager's report, the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus Greenest Region Compact endorsement is being taken off the consent agenda for a presentation this evening. Is there anything else anybody would like to have removed from the agenda? If not, call the roll, please.
You need a
Oh,
motion.
excuse me. Moving a little too quickly. We need a motion to approve this evening's consent agenda. Trustee Bromberg, seconded by Trustee Gray Keeler. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts.
Aye.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich.
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler.
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. And I'd like to take a moment to introduce the newest member of our Board of Health, Ashley Moy Wooten. Ashley, would you? Thank you. You're joining a great board and just at the right time. The board has just recently completed its health plan, and I think you're going to really enjoy being with them. We're very proud of the fact that it was our Board of Health that recommended the state's first Clean Air Indoor Act, and then followed it up later with a revised version that the village board passed and eventually became the law of the state of Illinois. And no way to quantify it, but I think without question, it's going to save lives in this state. And that's just a little bit of the kind of work that our Board of Health does. So, Ashley, welcome. It's great to have you, and we appreciate your taking the time, and we're going to put you to work right away. Thank you. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is report of our village manager, John Lockerbie.
Thank you very much, Mayor Van Dusen and Village Board. Good evening, everyone. Item A was approved under tonight's consent agenda. Item B is regarding the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus Greenest Region Compact endorsement. And I've asked Georgia Saku, our assistant to the Public Works Director, to provide a presentation regarding this item this evening. But just kind of a high-level summary. As you're aware, the Environmental Sustainability Commission approved a multi-year plan for sustainability initiatives, and we continue to work very diligently to accomplish those goals. Georgia Saku and Max Slankert are the two staff liaisons to that commission, and this initiative this evening endorsement is part of that work. And George, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for your time this evening. I just quickly wanted to go over the Greenest Region Compact, or GRC, how it was introduced to us. Essentially, the Greenest Region Compact is a compilation of organizations, like-minded, sustainability-focused organizations that got together through the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus that developed it to agree to what they call consensus goals. They're these consensus sustainability goals. And the idea is that these organizations would work together to move forward to achieving these goals at their own community, but also collaboratively as a region to try and bring those progressive ideas to the region. And so I'd like to just quickly read the Greenest Region Compact goal. I think it succinctly explains it. To align environmental issues, resources, and actions at the local, regional, and national levels to guide municipalities to achieve greater environmental sustainability. They additionally created what they call the Greenest Region Compact Framework, which is a survey that was done, or a study that was done of regional sustainability plans. The idea being looking at what other organizations are doing, what type of projects and priorities are being put in place, what similarities are there, and they established this guideline or framework that organizations can then use to bolster their own plans, benchmark their own projects and plans, like our plan, for instance, or to even create a sustainability plan where there isn't one. We had actually created our sustainability plan after the study was done, so we weren't part of that. But I actually met Edith Macra is here. She, with the Metropolitan Mayor Caucus, she was a part of the heading of the Greenest Region Compact, and I actually ran into her at a Northwest Municipal Conference meeting where she presented, and I asked her about this after the meeting and said, I would love for you to come meet with our Sustainability Commission. They're a very passionate group. They'd be very interested in this. And so she came about a month later. Trustee Roberts was there with us. We met and discussed the GRC and how that might fit in. And the board and Jessica Beverly of the commission is here today representing the commission. They were very supportive, thought it made a lot of sense considering the work that we've been doing as a community, and asked me to write a memo and recommend that the board sign on to the GRC and adopt. And again, it's a good opportunity for us to collaborate with other like-minded organizations and provide us resources for now and moving forward into the future as we look to further develop our sustainability goals as we move forward. And so that's basically what the program is. Real quick, I'd like to show you, if I could. Edith was kind enough when she met with us to go over some of the things Skokie has done. And among a number of the communities that she had looked at, because again, Skokie came in kind of after, we ranked 9th among, was it at the time 96 communities? 290, sorry. 96 had signed on to the GRC by then, forgive me. And we ranked 9th. And these are some of the things that we've done. And this is actually an older list. There's probably some other things that we haven't even included on here, or that we are working on and hope to add. So you could see the farmers market, being a Tree City USA organization, no idling policies, the different programs that we're doing, curbside recycling. So Skokie's doing a lot of great things. Skokie's a very sustainability focused and minded organization. This is an opportunity for us to further collaborate and be a leader and assist where we can as well. So we're very excited about it and very excited to present it to you today. And with that, open any questions if you have any.
Sure. And is Edith going to make some remarks?
If you'd like,
Believe. Sure, if you would. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you so much. So I'm Edith Macra. I'm the Director of Environmental Initiatives for the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus. And George did a great job summing up the Greenest Region Compact. For those who don't know us, we are a Regional Council of Governments. We're actually a small not-for-profit group. And I like to tell the story of why we put together the GRC. And it's because we're such a small organization that we really wanted to get clarity on what our priorities were for sustainability. It's only one of our programs is the environmental issues. And then make the most of the resources that we have very much mirroring what municipalities have, multiple priorities, stretched really thin, never enough staff to get it done. So the Greenest Region Compact was our way of basically putting our heads together as municipalities around the region to come up with consensus goals and then to collaboratively work forward to accomplish them. So Greenest Region Compact is really about, again, putting heads together, being efficient, aligning priorities, and then trying to use that for leverage. When George and I first met, I actually came to talk about our work collaboratively to try to access some of the funding through the Volkswagen mitigation settlement, in which Volkswagen fraudulently tailored their cars to create emissions that were unlawful, and there's now settlement funding available. We were talking about working together to try to get that for green fleets, and that was the topic. So now that the Greenest Region Compact is well underway, we have, if you adopt tonight, you'll be 107 of our communities, so we've really got some momentum behind this, and we're able to use that now to leverage the collective and consensus agreement of municipalities on these priority sustainability goals to then say, hey, municipalities care about this. We'd like to work together with you on greener fleets. Or just this evening, I was in the office working on something we're calling the Greenest Region Corps, which is a brand new AmeriCorps program deploying AmeriCorps volunteers to communities throughout the region. So once Skokie's a Greenest Region Compact community, we'll invite you to all of those opportunities and look forward to working with you to advance your sustainability. I do want to echo George's assessment of where you are in terms of sustainability. When we put the study together, we really looked at, even though we didn't talk to every community, we studied what you have done and really learned from leading communities like Skokie. So this is a tally of the things that you had done over time. They were only initiatives that were tracked by third parties, and that helped us align these existing programs, things that are going really well, like Tree City USA or farmers markets, and incorporate those into the Greenest Region Compact going forward. So with a leading community, again, like Skokie, this isn't a new set of goals. This meshes perfectly, hopefully, with what you've been doing already and just builds on that. So thank you very much for considering. Thank you very much to Trustee Roberts for hosting me at a meeting, and very much to the Sustainability Commission and to staff for the work that you put into considering it.
Thank you. Trustee Roberts.
Edith, thank you for coming, and I want to thank Jessica publicly and the members of the commission. You should be very proud of your work. You've worked hard. You're one of the hardest working commissions out there. So Edith, could you just, I just want to bask in the glow here for just a minute. So could you put that in context that we're 9th out of 270? How, could you explain that just a little bit? Because I am very proud of Skokie.
Yeah, you should be. And I have to say that the ranking that we have on this one, when putting together this study, it was very important for us to try to pull in what was already successful. And take, for example, my background is forestry, and I knew that I didn't have to ask a community, do you care about trees if you're already a long-time Tree City USA? Any idea how many years you've been in it? Long time for Skokie. 20, okay, so it was very important to go back and look at those accomplishments across all areas of sustainability. So what this part of the study that we did, it was stealthy, but we looked into the databases of 95 different types of environmental achievements. So it was a very broad study, and we looked across Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus membership, which is 275 communities, and then some. So that's why the pool is so big, 290, and we just simply, I wanted to know, wasn't the idea to rank communities, but I wanted to know where there's a lot of activity and energy. For example, I know that energy efficiency, actually land conservation was the most common environmental achievement across the board. Makes me understand that that's going to continue to be important to communities. Trees are number 4. Energy efficiency were number 2 and 3. So that's why I did this study, but when I did the study, I was able to stand back and say, wow, look at who's leading. So I do have to say that I don't share the list very readily because it was done stealthily. It was exactly that. But if you're in the top 10, I think you should be very proud of that. So that's the reason for it. I will have to say that going forward, that is the intention of the Mayor's Caucus, not only to provide collaborative initiatives to work on these goals together, but that we develop a reporting and tracking system so that we not only can, you as a community can say, here's the great things that we're doing, but we can aggregate that information and say collectively through the region we've saved, and this is a real number, it's the only number I have to hang my hat on, 32 million kilowatts of energy from retrofitting public facilities. So we aren't able yet to track that, but we hope to, and I trust that when we do have a tracking system in place, that Skokie will again come out in the top 10, so.
Thank you.
Sure.
I've never thought of you as being stealth.
There wasn't enough resources to talk to every community, and when we were designing the study, I asked a few communities if the 95 achievements were good, but then they came back to me and said, well, you didn't do this, and you didn't think of this, and you didn't think of this. So municipalities were very proud to share, so we went stealth with the resources we have. But
No.
it was incredible information in terms of what communities have and priorities, and as George said, what was similar and common within communities.
Next time I read a spy novel, I'll be thinking of Edith Macra. Give our regards to Dave Bennett, by the way. A motion is in order, Trustee Roberts, seconded by Trustee Sucker. Are there any further comments or questions on the motion? Alaka?
I just have a quick question about future sustainability projects, for instance, solar, and what your organization does to get that moving, and how do you see this? Is this like in the near future sometime, or
Sure.
how do you envision this?
Yeah, that's a very good question there. There isn't another regional municipal program for sustainability, so we work very hard to make sure that the municipal voice is heard when there are policies and programs impacting our municipalities. For example, on the Future Energy Jobs Act, we worked really hard to stay on top of where some of those policies were going and where that would impact municipalities. So that new legislation, there were some wins and losses in there for municipalities. And one of the wins is very much that there's going to be a lot of solar development. So we actually have two initiatives on solar, and it's a very good illustration of the benefit of being part of the Greenest Region Compact. So we put together an energy subcommittee. We have an ongoing environment committee, and you're very much invited to participate in that. And that's just a voluntary participation in all kinds of issues on environment. The energy subcommittee really worked to follow what opportunities we had in the Future Energy Jobs Act, or known as FEJA. And we settled on, because of opportunities and working together, we settled on two initiatives that are available to Greenest Region Compact communities. One of them, we looked very much at opportunities to try to build solar on public facilities, and because of the complexity of the franchise agreement and the way projects are financed, we didn't have a lot of luck there. We found a program called Sol Smart, which is SOL, so Solar Smart, and it's a program out of a national not-for-profit called the Solar Foundation, which provides streamlined codes and policy guidance, or I should say guidance for municipalities to streamline codes and policies so that solar development can occur in your community. And that is, we put together a cohort of communities that were our Greenest Region Compact and now have more Sol Smart designated communities than any state, including Colorado and California. We're very proud of that. And we have another cohort that kicks off in November. So that's one of the things that's made up of Greenest Region Compact communities, and you're more than welcome to join if you want to get on board with that very quickly. Another opportunity on solar, again, because it wasn't very easy for most municipalities to host solar development, we're working with a consultant that's doing an aggregated purchase, aggregated bid to purchase community solar outputs. Under the Future Energy Jobs Act, there's lots of solar development that is proposed, and there is a certain number of, you don't want to call them permits, but they're, ComEd has to provide interconnection permits, and there's only so many solar developments that can go forward. And those that go forward have a better opportunity to go forward if they have customers already signed on, or subscribers, they call it, in the community solar world, and it's geared towards small subscribers. So we're aggregating municipalities that want to participate by analyzing municipal accounts for public facilities and then offering those up to these solar developers to purchase that solar. A little complicated to explain in a couple of minutes here, but it is collaborative procurement, and it's kind of the best we can do on solar, we think, for municipalities at this point. And that program is just under development now, so your timing will be good on that. And we definitely will be in touch to offer that opportunity to you. It comes at no cost. The fees for that is paid for by the solar developer, much in the way that municipal aggregation was paid for.
If I may, real quick too, our Sustainability Commission, we have a subcommittee on energy conservation. They're very excited to meet on SolSmart with the Metropolitan Mayor Caucus. So we're going to set that up very soon. And we're actually studying as a staff community solar opportunities as well. So we are going to be doing that. So first step, sign on and then work with Edith on that.
Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts,
Enthusiastically, yes. Aye.
Trustee Sutker,
Absolutely. Aye.
Trustee Ulrich,
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg,
Aye.
Trustee Klein,
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. Jessica, thank you. Thank you for everything. Edith, thank you for coming tonight. George, thank you. Great presentation.
Items C and D were approved under tonight's consent agenda, and that completes my report.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is report of our Corporation Counsel, Michael Lorch.
Thank you, Mayor, trustees. Good evening, everyone. Item A on my report was part of the consent agenda at the beginning of the meeting, and it was adopted. Item B is a resolution to approve a plat of subdivision for the property located at 9441 Kenneth Avenue, which is in an R1 single-family district. And the purpose of this is to consolidate two tax parcels into one. This subdivision meets all village requirements. Mayor, I would request board action on this tonight.
Motion is in order on the plat of subdivision for 9441 Kenneth. Motion is in order. Trustee Klein, seconded by Trustee Gray Keeler. Is there any comments or questions? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts,
Aye.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich,
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg,
Aye.
Trustee Klein,
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes.
That would conclude my report for this evening.
Thank you. And neither of you have asked for an executive session. That's a record. Next item is Plan Commission Case 2018-23P. Chairman Paul Luke with Peter Pyer.
Good evening, Mayor, members, and members of the board. Again, this is case 2018-23P, site plan approval at 5010 Warren Street. At the August 16th meeting of the Plan Commission, we reviewed the request for a site plan approval for a building that exceeds the base building height of 45 feet and the base floor area ratio of 2.5 in the CX Core Mixed Use Zoning District, plus relief from Chapter 118-52 to allow the building to be constructed within the required 15-foot site distance triangle and other relief discovered during the review of this request. The building begins the transformation of Warren Street as a commercial connection between the Illinois Science and Technology Park and adds modern, higher density housing in close proximity to the Skokie Oakton station and the historical core of the downtown at Oakton and Lincoln. The four-story structure, which will contain 8 multifamily residents and a 2,363 square foot area for commercial space, is significantly lower in height than the maximum height of 156 feet in the zoning district, as well as the town square and 8001 developments directly to the south. There will be 4 two-bedroom and 4 three-bedroom residential units. The petitioner intends the units to be owner-occupied and will improve the alley adjacent to the site. There are 9 interior parking spaces for residents. 1 may possibly be used for a commercial employee, and 2 residential guest parking spots at the rear of the building that may not be used for commercial employees or customers or parking for residents of the building. Garbage storage will be in the garage. Okay. The building has proposed is consistent with the goals and the object of both the comprehensive plan and the zoning district. In fact, the original developer of the Illinois Science and Illinois Science and Technology Park has requested a retail link between Warren Street from Niles Avenue to Lincoln Avenue. The current developer is also committed to the plan. It should be noted that many of the vacancies downtown are being as a result of the properties currently being marketed for redevelopment, being held for future redevelopment, or landlords that are not yet able to reach agreements with potential tenants. The petitioner also testified that he did not have any problems including the ground floor retail space in the development, which would be would be open to additional commercial use. He did not feel that residential uses were appropriate for the ground floor. Additional analysis about this case and a discussion can be found in the attached staff report. Residents of the six-story condominium across the street wanted the ambience of old Skokie to be preserved, to enjoy the natural environment, not all the LED lights and signs in downtown Skokie. Questioned the commercial viability of the location and were concerned about increased traffic on Warren. One resident that spoke called and sent an email to the planning division following the hearing to clarify her position that under no circumstances was she against the project. She welcomes it only and meant to say that if we could have mixed usage, it would be something that would be profit to the neighborhood. Owners and occupants on the north side of Warren Street were concerned about the condition of the very low power lines, the amount of traffic from the unemployment office that moved into the Imperial Realty building, what will happen to the rest of the block in terms of redevelopment once this first building is built, parking in the alleys, construction staging, and existing problems with neighborhood parking. Following the hearing, the village provided an opportunity for those to speak to discuss neighborhood use issues at a downtown neighborhood meeting on September 20th at Village Hall. The Appearance Commission approved the facade at their June 13th meeting. The Plan Commission recommends by a vote of 6 ayes and 1 nay and 2 members absent that this would be approved.
Thank you. A motion on Plan Commission Case 2018-23P, site plan approval, 5010 Warren Street, is in order. Trustee Roberts, seconded by Trustee Gray Keeler. Are there any comments or questions? Is there anybody who wishes to address the issue? I believe the developer is in the audience. Welcome. Trustee Roberts.
Could you, how did the meeting go on September 20th? I don't know, were you the two of you there for the meeting? Or,
I was there for about 2/3 of the meeting, and I think it started off a little tense, but I believe that by the end of the meeting, from what I've heard from Peter, that everybody seemed to be content and happy. I think that they just needed to be more informed as to what was going on downtown.
Okay. Peter, could you, there was some discussion in the report about the site triangles and the parking in and out. Could you just give us just a little bit more on that, please?
Yes. There's 2 areas of relief, excuse me here. And first, this parking space here, number 9, this is the one that we would like to have as an employee parking space because it's a little narrower. The driveway meets requirements as 20 feet wide. However, it should be 24, so that's where the relief comes in. But there's plenty of space to back because there's a garbage collection area over here. And then usually there's a site triangle that you have to maintain, and coming out of this space, you don't have that site triangle for visibility. But there's other ways of creating that with mirrors and whatever. And in the alley also, there's a parking space here. That parking space is allowed in the site triangle, but the building is not. So the car is already blocking the site triangle, and so it really is not a hardship to have this here. The building is set back 10 feet, which would meet the setback in a residential district, as opposed to 15 feet in a commercial district. So those are the two main things.
And the 4 stories, how many feet is that?
I would think it's a little over let's see. It's,
45 feet.
yeah, it's about 45.
But it's actually 2 stories less than the building across the street, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And in other places, you know, as the 8,000 north, it's 150 feet. It already really depends on the size, and that's why at the beginning it stated about the floor area ratio and the height. Anything 45 feet and below, you could build by right, so they wouldn't even have had to come to the public hearing process. It's a few feet above that, and also because of the site triangles. Otherwise, it's a by right type of development.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Yes, sir. Would you come to the microphone, give us your name and address, please?
Hi, my name is John Lias. I own the property next door, 5006 Warren Street, which is right there, yeah. My question, or I have 2 questions. One is, how will access be obtained as construction continues down the block for parking, for example? And having the building on the corner, is that going to limit access to parking for new buildings that may be going up?
Peter?
Well, it shouldn't. As part of the requirement, the developer is widening the alley. He's also paving that portion of the alley behind his building. And as development goes to the east, and we hope at some point that other property owners will want to consider coming in on a development like this. In fact, I'm sure the developer here would be willing to speak with his neighbor. That's possible, and the access is through the alley. There could be some possibilities of coming off of Warren Street also. I mean, that's not a prohibitive thing, but a certain percentage of the front is required to be commercial, so that on a small lot like this, it usually means that it comes in from behind.
So there would be cuts available in
Yes.
the curbing for
Oh, yeah.
Warren Street?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, and my second question is, with a building of 46 feet or thereabouts, does that create any limitation for new construction going down the block? Like, for example, on my property, would it be required to be 46 feet?
Oh,
Or could it go to the 156 limit?
Yeah, no, if you had enough assemblage of properties, you could go up to 150. What really prohibits that is the lack of parking and the ability to get that floor area ratio, because you need to get bonuses to get greater height. And that usually cannot be achieved on a small lot.
Okay, all right. That's
Mr. Laws, how do you spell your last name?
It's Lyhus.
I was way off. Thank you, Mr.
All right,
Laws.
thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anybody else who wishes to address the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts?
Aye.
Trustee Sutker?
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich?
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg?
Aye.
Trustee Klein?
Aye.
Trustee Greg Keeler?
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen?
Aye. Motion passes. Congratulations. Welcome.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, citizen comment. Is there anybody who wishes to address the board? If not, motion to adjourn? We are adjourned.